Place your bet, you jackwagons. By the big noise, Evans again on a solo mission edition. Lundy sends his apologies. I thought it was going to happen today, but the travel gods kind of got in the way. A little bit of a snafu. Him en route right now from Denver to Chicago. So as a result, I got to fly solo because you want bets. You demand bets, and I give you the bets ahead of NFL Week 2 in the main slate. First and foremost, let's hop aboard the honk plus bus. Plus money is a requirement. Plus 100 odds or greater is the necessary threshold to cross. And let's try to make some college cash on the Duke Blue Devils. Give me them on the money line, taking on the Tulane Green Wave down there in the Crescent City. Kind of a revenge game. Really could be more revenge game for Tulane against their former quarterback, who is now at the controls in Durham, that being Mensa, a guy that got paid Brewster's millions, to say the least, to take that trip from New Orleans to North Carolina. And I got to watch this Duke team last week. The one major takeaway against my who? The ILL ended up trouncing in the second half as a very talented and assertive and aggressive defensive front. Tulane is not blocking. Protecting the pocket. They're going to get swarmed under. I think this Duke team, Ryan Horvat, my colleague on BetMGM tonight, has really talked them up. Believes they're going to win 8 to 9 games. I don't think they're going to, fall again in another major contest, get back on track and get the win. A little bit of a background from the numbers nerd. The Football Power Index has Tulane at number 45 in the country and Duke at number 64. Offensive rating, though, for Tulane, just at number 76, according to Pro Football Focus. Duke much better in that capacity at number 35. Defensively, though, flipping the script as Tulane is number 42 in defensive efficiency through the first few weeks here of the season. Duke at number 77. So if the Blue Devils can be a little bit more opportunistic and, again, can really crank and dial up that heat, I say the Blue Devils get the win on the road. Give me the Dukies, baby, on the money line. In New Orleans, taking on the Green Wave of Tulane at plus 100. Even Steven Juice at BetMGM. With that bet on the board, it's time to get after it with another edition of the Fade 5. All right, numero cinco here on the countdown. You want a guy that's going to bounce back and storm back with a vengeance? How about the number 1 overall pick you likely acquired in your fantasy football draft, that being Jamar Chase? And I am chasing that cash on the WR1 of the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going to go the alt market and go with him. 90-plus receiving yards against the Jacksonville Jaguars and the free line fracas there. This one being played in the Queen City. Plus 100. So little babies today's beverages there at ESPN Bet. Again, I think Jamar Chase, a guy that typically really fires back strong coming off a dud performance. Last week, had 5 targets in the game, only a couple of catches for 26 yards. I still don't know how Cincinnati remotely won that contest against the Cleveland Browns. They were really outplayed in pretty much every single facet. Another sluggish start to September for this franchise. One of the positive takeaways for Chase, he had 88 total air yards. He was number 10 in average depth of target. And you look at in his career over the last 3 seasons, he's had 10 games in which he is coming off a sub 50-yard performance. In those next games, he's averaging 100.3 receiving yards per game. You throw the fact, too, I'm probably going to get a lot of Tyson Campbell in coverage. Middle of the road and pass coverage grade in week 1. And number 40 overall as tracked by PFF. And I know the Jags are right now, 1 game sample size, Evans, top 5 in pass EPA defense. But I think Jamar Chase, I think Joe Burrow, I think this Bengals offense goes ballistic. So give me Jamar Chase, numero cinco on the countdown, plus 100 juice for him to go for 90 or more receiving yards there at ESPN Bet. Numero cuatro, mi amigos, here on the Fade 5 countdown. Bear down. Chicago Bears. I'm going to play a little same game parlay. Give me the Bears. Plus 7.5 on the old spread. I'm going to parlay that with Caleb Williams. No, not with the arm, but with the legs. 15 or more rush yards. They're in Detroit, the Ben Johnson Bowl. That shakes out to a cool plus 106. They're at DraftKings Sportsbook. Caleb Williams is a guy that I believe is going to be busy on the ground for much of the season. Now, he's an opportunistic runner, to say the least. Sometimes he runs with his hair on fire. I think, Ben Johnson's not going to negate that and try to quell that part of his game. There should be around, 5-6 rush attempts. Again, he was very impressive calling his own number in week one. Now, in the first half, he was all over the place in a positive way with the arm and also boost the bottom line there with the legs. Then he just fell apart at the seams late in that game and has everybody in Chicago wondering, is he really going to be our franchise quarterback of the present and future? I think it's too early to tell. But regardless, in terms of this prop, I think Caleb Williams will get to just the 15 yards needed. Again, 6 rush attempts, 58 yards, and that rushing touchdown week one against the Minnesota Vikings. In a pair of games last year against the Lions, he went for 39 rush yards and 34 rush yards. Now, Detroit didn't even have a single, not one, pressure in week one, which is rather unusual when you have Aiden Hutchinson there as a bookend. So they'll have to hopefully crank up the heat a couple of times, flush Caleb Williams out of the pocket. But even on design runs, he can get this in one scramble. So like that quite a bit. And I think the Bears will be competitive in this game, building in a little hook to pad that bottom line from the current spread, which is Chicago plus 6. I think it will be a single score affair. So to recap, numero cuatro here on the Fade 5 Countdown, same game parlay. Bear down, Chicago Bears, plus 7.5, and Caleb Williams, 15 or more rush yards, plus 106, built there at DraftKings Sportsbook. Numero tres on the Friday edition, NFL Week 2 of the Fade 5 Countdown. Bo knows how to run. Gimme Knicks to go for 20-plus rush yards on the road in the Circle City, taking on the Indianapolis Colts. Another even Steven, plus 100 juice. That one is available there in the alt market at ESPN Bet. A pretty healthy 26.7% carry rate is what Knicks logged in the opener. Now, he only averaged 2.3 yards per carry, but the basic numbers, 8 rush attempts, 18 rush yards. If he gets a similar volume on the ground, I think he's going to crush the over that is needed here, which is 20 or more rush yards to cash there at ESPN Bet. He has gone over this prop in 4 of his last 5 games, stretching back to last season, including the playoffs. Indy defense with DeForest Buckner and friends that does try to really collapse a lot of pockets. They were number 11 in pocket pressure percentage in week 1, dialing up that heat on 19.4% of opponent dropbacks. I was right around where they finished the year last season at 18.9%. So put together numero tres here on the Fade 5 Countdown. Make me some buckaroos. Bo Nix, 20-plus rush yards, plus 100 in Indy. Available there at ESPN Bet. Hey, you want some more wagers? Of course you do. You want some fantasy football advice? That box is also checked. Just go to thegamingjuice.com right now, mi amigos. I don't charge you a dime, at least at the current moment. I have all of my week 2 NFL positional fantasy football ranks. I'll be updating those throughout the entire weekend, really scrubbing them and fleshing them out once we get some of these practice reports trickling out on a Friday. I've got my top props piece for NFL Week 2. That is posted right now. All my Fantasy Flames columns, a quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, also live. Lundy's free and always public transparent spreadsheet lives on that site. So does my spreadsheet as well. A little bit down on Thursday Night Football. Austin Eckler getting hurt late. Certainly hurt me in a couple of prop lines and areas, but we march on, baby. You get it all. You can even ask me a question. I'll get back to you at thegamingjuice.com. Click, converse, and cash. ... Maybe. All right, numero dos here on the Friday edition of the Fade 5 Countdown. I'm not saying it's going to be Charbonnet all day. Leaving the cork in the bottle. I'm going to live in the land down under on his rush yards prop. I grab it at 46.5. That one on the road against the Pittsburgh Steelers at a minus 115 juice there at BetMGM. You got a surefire split going on in that backfield right now in the Starbucks City. Was nearly a 50-50 snap share. In fact, Zach Charbonnet logged exactly 55.8% of the snaps. Of course, with Kenneth Walker, the third, getting the rest of that share. You look at what he did in week one. Well, it was relatively impressive if you had him in the flex spot. In your fantasy lineups, the 12 carries of 47 yards and a touchdown, but only saw 48% of the overall opportunity share. He was only number 33 in yards created per touch on the week, number 42 in yards after contact per attempt. That's rather unexciting. Things don't move when I hear that line at 2.42, and he only forced a couple of missed tackles. Now, the Steelers were absolutely clotheslined in week one by Justin Fields, Breece Hall, Braylon Allen even found the end zone, and that New York Jets rushing attack. They were owned in the trenches, which is a bit surprising. This defense, at least on the front line, was projected to be the stiffest in the NFL, according to Pro Football Focus. Right now, they're number 28. So near the bottom in rush EPA defense. They allowed 4.96 yards per carry to opposing running backs. But I think their true colors going to show. They're going to tighten things up. Give me the under on Zach Charbonnet at 46.5 rush yards there in the Steel City. Don't be the soft curtain and bring back the steel curtain, Pittsburgh. All right, moving on to numero uno here on the Fade 5 Countdown. Oh, the CMC Football Factory. Gonna make you sweat, baby. Yeah, he's gonna be cranking out hopefully some fat stacks of cash. I'm taking the over on 4.5 receptions. Grabbed this at open last night. I've been waiting on pins and needles for it, and it finally showed up about 10 o'clock Eastern time on my BetMGM app. He's taking on the Fleur-de-Lis down in the land of beignets, that being New Orleans, Louisiana. Minus 110 juice is what I got it at. That's kind of crazy good value available there at BetMGM. The reason why I'm really high on this, who the hell is going to catch the damn ball coming off the hand? Not a Brock Purdy. Remember, he is out with turf toe, but Mac Jones. I think it's going to be a lot of Christan McCaffrey in the short to intermediate field in this game, much like it was last week with Purdy under center. The CMC Football Factory, McCaffrey, I should say, in week one, 10 targets, 9 catches, 73 yards through the air, an outlandish 31.3% target share, ran 27 routes, ran around 75% of his snaps. He caught, again, 90% of his intended looks. Now, New Orleans, they only give up 5 receptions in total to Arizona running backs, but hey, if they only give up 5 again, that's still north of the 4.5 needed here. And not only that, too, but this defense, middle of the pack in drop back EPAD to begin the season at number 18. Mac Jones really featured Travis Etienne as a pass catcher when he was starting for the Jacksonville Jaguars last year. In those 7 games, so from week 11 on, Etienne averaged 2.9 receptions per game. And you might say, well, Evans, that's well south of the 4.5 posted here. But let me see. Let's wait. Christan McCaffrey, Travis Etienne. Who's more talented? Who is going to be a focal point? Especially Juwan Jennings doesn't play. We know George Kittle is going to be out for the San Francisco offense. They have very few reliable weapons outside of CMC and Ricky Pearsall. But altogether, Christan McCaffrey over 4.5 catches. My number one play of NFL Week 2 at New Orleans at a minus 110 juice. But wait, there's more. Let's get to it here on the Team Huevos Parlay play. Same gamer in NFL Week numero dos. And I am going to fire off something on the anytime touchdown market. Give me Derrick Henry to splash 6. And then also give me one Jahmyr Gibbs to do the exact same thing, coming off that clunker effort against possibly the for real Green Bay Packers. Put those hands together and track a plus 135 juice materializes there at BetMGM. You look at Henry, 2 touchdowns in week 1. You might say, oh, man, you're buying on the bull market here, Evans. I get it, but he did score 4 times in 7 games in his career against the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland, respectable. They were damn good last week, though they did allow a rushing score to who? Oh, my God, Chase Brown. I'm thinking, but they limited Cincinnati run backs just 2.05 yards per carry. They're number 12 in rush EPAD. It won't be easy, but again, Baltimore is heavily favored. So I think, Derrick Henry will give ball to the belly and splash 6 in this one. So I love that on the front end of this Team Huevos parlay play. And then lane numero dos, Jahmyr Gibbs. Lions, Bears, again, as I mentioned, the Ben Johnson Bowl. Gibbs, just a disgusting 9 for 19 on the ground. Did have 10 catches for an NFL low for a guy in history, mind you, to grab 10 receptions in a game, only had 31 receiving yards. Saw about the same opportunity share he did last year with mandatory Montgomery. They were at 55.9%, but he had 4 red zone touches. The Bears did give up a touchdown to running back in week 1. That was Aaron Jones on a reception. But the Bears right now, not looking great. Number 23 in rush EPAD against those Vikes, as Jordan Mason in particular is really racking the yards late in that game. I think Jahmyr Gibbs crosses the chalk as well. So put all together, 2-legger here. Derrick Henry, anytime touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs, also an anytime touchdown, plus 135 there at BetMGM. More in bonus time. Have a ton of initial bets, but Lundy is honestly texting me right now, and he is firing off with his plays that he absolutely loves this week. So I'm just going to read them off to you. He likes, number 1, Brenton Williams Strange on the over 33.5 receiving yards at a minus 109. He booked that at DraftKings. He also likes Juggernaut Javonte Williams to score again. He's got many time touchdown at plus 105. Also placed at DraftKings. And he's taking Zach Charbonnet. Is he fading me? No. He's going to follow him on the over 9.5 receiving yards at a minus 114 as well. So those are his top 3 plays. Again, Brenton Strange over 33.5 receiving yards at a minus 109. Javonte Williams anytime touchdown plus 105. And Zach Charbonnet over 9.5 receiving yards minus 114. By the way, that one he placed at FanDuel Sportsbook. Thanks, Lundy. And very timely of you to submit those, probably assuming the airplane Wi-Fi was working there and getting that in just in the nick of time. A couple other bets I like, and again, I have a ton available on my always free, transparent, and public spreadsheet on thegamingjuice.com. Alec Manor of the Tennessee Titans. Give me the over on his longest catch. 16.5 yards in his matchup against the L.A. Rams. That one at minus 115, placed at BetMGM. He had 7 targets, only 2 grabs for 13 yards against the vaunted secondary of the Denver Broncos. But here's the key stat. He was numero 5 among all wide receivers in total air yards in week 1 with 133, an astronomical 19.08 dot. That was also top 10. Very healthy team target share at 28%. Going to get a lot of Forbes and coverage. It was just number 50 in pass coverage grade in week 1, though. As a collective, the Rams are number 7 in pass EPAD in the opener. Feeling good about this, though. Alec Manor, give me the over. 16.5 yards on his longest catch at a minus 115. You want more plus money? Let me give it to you. Braylon Allen, anytime touchdown, plus 235 at DraftKings. No Ed Oliver officially for the Buffalo Bills, who is a man-eater there in the trenches. And this defense was absolutely just smacked down by Derrick Henry. The football Frankenstein. In week 1, they gave up 3 rushing TDs. Lamar Jackson had the other one. Again, Henry accounted for 2. They're 31 already in rush EPA defense, and down one of their main trench hogs Allen only played on 31.3% of the snaps, but he had 3 red zone touches in the game in week 1 against the Steelers, and he found the end zone. And the rest of his carries sucked, but he's a big, physical, between the tackles grinder. I think he's going to be utilized primarily in that capacity this year. That'll be a specialty, like old school TJ Duckett style, is trying to punch it in for 6. So give me Braylon Allen, anytime touchdown. And last one for me, folks, Kayshawn. Smack that booty, baby. I'm taking the over on 37.5 receiving yards. I may play this in the alt market at 50 plus, significant plus money as well. So do a little step ladder. Betalytics has him projected at 42.4 receiving yards in his game against Miami. So nice value on the 37.5 line, minus 115 at tape time available there at BetMGM. Awesome game in week 1. I don't think it's a mirage. 8 targets, 6 catches, 103 yards, no touchdown, but he averaged 17.2 yards per reception. A decent target share at 17.8%, a sky high A dot at 17.1. He was number 3 in total air yards in the opening week, averaging 12.9 yards per target. And we know the Dolphins, they're going to be the not so fighting, but more so friendly flippers this season defensively, especially on the back end. Already number 25 and drop back EPAD. And Rasul Douglas looks washed. And that is the projected primary assignment for Booty. Douglas gave up 18.7 yards per reception to Colts assignments in week 1. So there you go. Like me, some Kayshawn Booty. Hopefully it's going to make me shake my rump, to say the least, here this week. All right, I'm out of breath, and I am out of time here on the Fade 5 podcast. Do us a favor, would you kindly? Drop us a rating and a review at your convenience. Also, fade or follow us on X. Lundy, always giving it to you there, at Nate Lundy, myself, at Noisy Huevos for the traveling Nathaniel Lundy. Hopefully he's going to be back with me on Monday. I'm Brad Evans. Until next time, mi amigos, as always, fade or follow. That is up to you. Good luck in week 2.